This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Bo Yuqing's expression became extremely ugly as he said coldly, "Lord Feiyang, you're famous all over the world. You're a peerless figure. You can't spread rumors." Yunxiao laughed and said, "Of course. I know my status, and brother Yuqing is also a world-famous big shot. How could I lie to you? Master Nie Shengfeng is really not dead. He has returned to the Sea of Soul formation." Bo Yuqing couldn't remain calm, he was completely stunned. "Congratulations, brother Yuqing." Yunxiao cupped his fists and said, "You can finally get your wish. Your loyalty and filial piety can shake the heavens and earth. I hope you master and disciple can meet soon." Bo Yuqing's face was white as he paced back and forth on the warship, his face full of worry. "Brother Yuqing, you don't have to be so excited," Yunxiao said with a smile. "I can understand your joy at this moment." Bo Yuqing was no longer in the mood to pay attention to the sarcasm in Yunxiao's tone. With an unsightly expression, he said, "My master has returned to the Sea of Soul formation. What about my senior brother? Master Lu Songzi?" Yunxiao asked in an exaggerated manner. "Master Lu Songzi? Of course, it's an unprecedented grand occasion of master and disciple working together to create the Sea of Soul formation." "Bullshit." Bo Yuqing couldn't help but curse, gritting his teeth, "Gu Feiyang, you tricked me." "What do you mean, brother Yuqing?" Yunxiao chuckled. "What do you mean?" "Humph." Bo Yuqing snorted heavily before gradually calming down. He said sarcastically, "Does a peerless martial sovereign like to play these boring tests? If my master really returned, that would naturally be a joyous occasion. But is it really good for Lord Feiyang to be beating around the bush and attack the relationship between us? I'm just telling you this great news because I saw that you missed your master so much, brother Yuqing," Yunxiao cried. "What do you mean by knocking on your door?" "Humph." Bo Yuqing snorted coldly and said, "There's no need to talk about the relationship between us master and disciple. It's just that I've been away from the continent for many years. I'm sure many major things have happened over the years, right? Please, Lord Feiyang, help me explain, especially about my master's return." "It's not a big deal," Yunxiao said with a smile. "As for your master's return, it's only recently." "That's right, I heard that the first thing your master did after returning was to go to Yu Yixian's grave. It's said that Yu Yixian is your master's grandmaster. It seems that brother Yuqing's line has long had the fine tradition of respecting the master." "Yu Yixian's tomb?" Bo Yuqing's expression changed greatly and he said in shock, "And then?" Yunxiao looked at him and said with a smile, "And then? After paying their respects, they will naturally return to the Sea of Soul formation." Bo Yuqing's face was filled with anger. He knew that Yunxiao was deliberately keeping him in suspense, but he did not know anything about the continent, so he could only be anxious. He calmed down and thought for a moment. "Lord Feiyang," he said, "actually, there is no conflict of interest between us. We are friends, not enemies." "What do you mean, brother Yuqing?" Yunxiao asked with a smile. "With Lord Feiyang's intelligence, he naturally knows what I mean. We can sit down and have a good talk, so that both sides will be happy." Shui Xian blinked her eyes and asked in confusion, "Didn't you guys already have a great time?" Yunxiao ignored her and smiled at Bo Yuqing. "Have a seat. I'm also looking forward to having a frank and open talk with brother Yuqing." "All right." Bo Yuqing nodded and said, "To show my sincerity, I'll get straight to the point. Is the puppet on Lord Feiyang fused with the two rainbow stones?" Yunxiao's eyes narrowed slightly as he chuckled and said, "I can see brother Yuqing's sincerity." He casually made a hand seal that appeared in the sky, forming an isolation barrier that separated the two of them. Even Yi Fan was pulled in. The rest of the people shook their heads with bitter smiles, but they were not dissatisfied. After all, the difference in strength was too great. They were not people from the same world. There were some things that they knew too much, and it might not be a good thing. Only the guest's face sank and he said angrily, "You actually want to cast me aside?" Without saying a word, he threw out a punch and broke Yunxiao's barrier. Then, he sat down in the middle of the three men with a fierce look on his face. "I also want to hear it." Shui Xian also moved over and sat directly beside them. With a wry smile, Yunxiao cast another incantation gesture helplessly, separating the five of them and forming a small space. Bo Yuqing stared at Yunxiao, looking a little nervous as he waited for his answer. Yunxiao pondered for a moment, then answered carefully that Tai's fiend heart flame was indeed produced after the fusion of the two rainbow stones, but that puppet didn't have the two rainbow stones. Bo Yuqing's expression changed greatly, as if he was a little dazed, muttering to himself, "It's really the fusion of the two stones." He suddenly shouted. "What changes will there be after the fusion of the two stones? Is it in your hands?" "Don't be so excited, Brother Yuqing," Yunxiao said. "I've already responded to your sincerity just now. Do you want to show me some more sincerity?" Bo Yuqing's face was filled with a complicated expression, as if he was hesitating. Shui Xian was a little mad. "What sincerity? Why can't I understand what you're saying? He's asking you a question." The three of them ignored her. "Lord Feiyang, do you know the origin of the rainbow stone?" Bo Yuqing gritted his teeth. "Brother Yuqing?" Yunxiao's heart jolted. "You know about it?" Bo Yuqing nodded. "This matter has a lot to do with my sect. I saw Lord Feiyang's giant spirit magical power in the battle. It seems to be true fiend dharma?" Yunxiao nodded without any hesitation. Niashing Feng was the inheritor of the demonic servants, so it was not strange for Bo Yuqing to know this. "As expected," Bo Yuqing said. "Since Lord Feiyang knows about the true fiend dharma idol, you must also know about the demon sealing war, right?" Yunxiao's face darkened. "Brother Yuqing," he snorted. "Are you trying to show your sincerity or test me?" Bo Yuqing smiled bitterly. "Lord Feiyang, you don't have to be so sensitive. I don't dare to test you." After the demon sealing war, the demon lord monarch was split up by those almighty warriors and placed in various secret places of the heavenly martial realm to be suppressed. These two rainbow stones are the body of the demon lord monarch. "What? The body of the demon lord emperor?" Yunxiao's face changed drastically as he said in horror, "Isn't that devil master formed from the black devil essence? He still has a body?" "What?" Bo Yuqing's expression changed. Could it be that the seal loosened and the emperor's avatar ran out? Yunxiao felt ashamed. The clones who had escaped from the three sealed lands were more or less related to him. Who is the demon lord emperor? How many places have he sealed? According to the sect's legend, the demon emperor was dismembered by many almighty warriors, Bo Yuqing said. He was split into 5 pieces and taken away by 15 almighty warriors to 15 secret places to suppress. Although I don't know who the devil master you're talking about is, it sounds very impressive. Since it's divided into 5 areas, why are there 15 secret places? Shui Xian was also puzzled, blinking her big eyes and listening carefully. Yunxiao was also greatly shocked. So far, 3 of Earth Devil's clones had escaped, so there were 2 more. These 15 secret grounds should seal 5 portions of devil essence, 5 pieces of agarine, and 5 pieces of rainbow stone, he said bitterly. That's right. Bo Yuqing said seriously. After the emperor's body was split apart, there were originally 5 pieces, but the 5 rainbow stones actually split by themselves and turned into the 2 extremes of yin and yang, which were the rainbow stones and the rainbow stones. Yunxiao felt dizzy. Not to mention the 2 places where the devil lords were sealed, there were 7 more pieces of agarine and rainbow stone in addition to the 2 he had and 1 in Yu Xingfeng's hand. What kind of existence is this demon monarch? He asked, somewhat distressed. He's still not dead after being split like this? Could it be that even those powerful beings back then had no way of killing him? Bo Yuqing's eyes flashed with a hint of concealment. I've heard my master say that it's not that he can't be killed, but that there's another secret. As for the strength of the demon lord emperor, only the heavens know. You can kill him but not kill him? Yunxiao asked suspiciously. Did those people back then have a hole in their heads? Bo Yuqing wiped his cold sweat and said awkwardly, I can't predict this. Lord Feiyang, is your trip here for the Rainbow Stone in Donghai Palace? Isn't the Rainbow Stone in the palace now? Yunxiao asked. This sea region should be where the ruins are, right? No one knows where the Rainbow Stone of Donghai Palace is, Bo Yuqing said. But the destruction of the old palace and the forced migration of Donghai's royal family did have something to do with the Rainbow Stone. That Rainbow Stone is now in my Divine Realm tablet, Yunxiao thought. If this is the place where the Rainbow Stone was sealed, it must be very dangerous. It's not strange that Baiming Tianlu is trapped in it. Where were the 15 locations where the demon masters were sealed, he asked. How would I know? Bo Yuqing grumbled. Yunxiao narrowed his eyes at him and smiled maliciously. Even if you don't know everything, you should at least know a thing or two, right? Bo Yuqing's expression flickered before he said, the old location of the palace is one of them, but I don't know about the others. I've already shown so much sincerity, shouldn't you show some as well, Lord Feiyang? His face darkened. Yunxiao laughed and said, as far as I know, your master, Chu Xingfeng, has already obtained Yu Yixian's physical body, and it seems that a piece of agarine has been integrated into Yu Yixian's physical body. What? Bo Yuqing's face was filled with shock as he said, is this news reliable? It's 100% reliable, Yunxiao said seriously. Because I've experienced it myself. As for Yu Xingfeng being able to completely control that body, I don't know. Bo Yuqing's expression seemed extremely ugly, cold sweat pouring down. Brother Yuqing, is it too hot? Yunxiao asked. I can see that your head is full of sweat. Bo Yuqing's face was livid as he gritted his teeth and said, Lord Feiyang, you still haven't answered my previous question. Who had the fused 2 rainbow stones? And how did you extract the ice fiend heart flame? What? Bo Yuqing was annoyed. Lord Feiyang dug out almost everything I know, but nothing came out. His face was livid with anger for a while, but when he looked at Yunxiao's leisurely look, he finally sighed in distress and said, the piece of agarine in Yu Yixian's hands was passed down from my master's lineage. He found that he, who had always had a sense of superiority in his mind, was no match for Yunxiao at all. So, he had to say honestly, after generations of research, this rainbow stone is actually formed by the convergence of yin and yang qi, representing extreme yin and extreme yang respectively, and can completely transform the human body into a divine body of 2 extremes. However, the side effects are also extremely great. After all, it's the body of a demon lord emperor, and it's easy to shake people's minds. Even a peak martial artist might not be able to resist the strange power inside. It was only then that Yunxiao remembered that the previous city lord of Red Moon City, Ningkaoei, was said to have gone crazy because of the agarine, which led to his disappearance. The dual polarity divine body, one of the few supreme physiques in the world, the guest asked solemnly. That's right. Bo Yuqing nodded. It's a supreme divine body that's comparable to the second island master's sacred wheel body. Yunxiao suddenly thought of something and said, Brother Yuqing, have you ever heard of the 9 yang divine body? Is this related to the dual polarity divine body? Bo Yuqing's face flickered as he looked at Yunxiao and said, are you talking about the 9 yang body that Gu Qingqing of Shinshao Palace had? It is. Yunxiao nodded. In order to cultivate the ultimate 9 yang divine body, Yunsheng had gone to that unknown place, and it was said that it was the guidance left behind by Gu Qingqing. Bo Yuqing pondered for a while before saying, Gu Qingqing refined a rainbow stone back then. What? Yunxiao's face changed drastically, and he looked extremely horrified. Are you sure? Bo Yuqing looked at him strangely, not understanding why he was so excited. He nodded and said, I don't know where the 10 pieces of rainbow stone were taken to, but Gu Qingqing did have the rainbow stone and successfully refined it. That was how she was able to achieve great success and defeat the demon race. He looked at Yunxiao, who had a complicated expression on his face, and continued, the reason why I know about this is because the successor of my line was defeated by Gu Qingqing in order to get back the rainbow stone. In the end, he died with hatred. These are all recorded in the sect's notes. Suddenly, a murderous aura emanated from Yunxiao's body, as if his heart was extremely disturbed. Then, if I want the 9 Yang divine body to be at large success, do I have to refine rainbow stones? Bo Yuqing nodded. Second Island Master should know best. Cultivating the divine body is cultivating the 8 gates of the physical body. As long as all 8 gates are opened, one can sanctify their physical body and step into the peak of martial arts with the power of the physical body, peeking into the immortal realm. However, even the second island master, who is a rare sage will supreme body, only opened 4 gates. How many people have opened all 8 gates in the past? That's true. The guest agreed. The world's most powerful man, Ao Chongkong, should be a master with all 8 gates opened. When he mentioned this name, his eyes flashed with a light, as if he was extremely reverent and eager. Bo Yuqing's pupils constricted, a strange look in his eyes, as if he had thought of something. Yunxiao's mind was in a mess at the moment. If he was right, the place Yunxiang was going to was the place where Gu Qingqing had left the rainbow stone. One must note that even Ning Kewei, that kind of expert, was unable to refine and absorb the rainbow stone. Even Yu Shengfeng did not dare to take it out and refine it himself, and instead wanted to possess Yu Yixian's body. What about Luo Yunxiang? The more Yunxiao thought about it, the more irritated he became. A murderous aura kept surging out of his body, causing the faces of the few people around him to change. What are you doing, Li Yunxiao? Shui Xian was shocked. Yunxiao suddenly looked up, his eyes filled with killing intent. Shui Xian was startled and cried out in alarm. Her emotions seemed to have directly affected the 6 deep-sea monsters in the distance. The sound of stormy waves came from the back of the warship, and the 6 monsters were making lululu sounds. The demonic dragon's voice came from his body. Don't worry too much. Don't forget that Yunxiang has the 9 Yang divine body, which is very close to the so-called dual extreme physiques. Moreover, she has cultivated the 9 Yang divine technique, which is a divine power left behind by Gu Qingqing. All of this is probably in preparation for refining the rainbow stone. She has no reason to harm her own descendants. Yunxiao pondered for a moment and agreed with the dragon's words. According to the rules of Shenqiao Palace, only those with the divine body of 9 Yang could cultivate the 9 Yang divine technique, and over the years, Yunxiang was the only one qualified to do so. The divine body and the divine technique should be the key to refining rainbow stones. Since Gu Qingqing had made such an arrangement, she must have had her reasons. At the thought of this, Yunxiao's state of mind gradually calmed down, and he retracted all his murderous aura. Yunxiao glanced at Water Fairy and said, I'm fine. I was just a little excited. Yifan stuck out his tongue and looked at the 6 deep-sea beasts that were roaring behind him. He smiled bitterly. Big brother Yunxiao, don't get too excited. Otherwise, my Noah's ship might not be able to withstand the attack of those 6 meatballs. Meatball? What meatball? You're the meatball, your entire family is meatballs. Shui Xian jumped up, she stared at Yifan in anger, she shouted, they have names. Their mother's name is Toot, and from left to right, the 5 babies are called Daodu, Fluffy, Simple-Minded, Yaya, and Strong. Yifan, Wan. He crossed his arms in front of his chest, tightening his thin body. Bo Yuqing's eyes flickered as he probed, could it be that the 9 Yang divine body has reappeared? None of your business, Yunxiao said impatiently. It's none of your business. And what's with that ice fiend heart flame? Bo Yuqing was extremely displeased, but although the other party had the body of a youth, his soul was a peerless martial sovereign, so he could only endure it. The ice fiend heart flame is the void flame produced after the 2 rainbow stones combined. It's also known as the heart demon flame and the sighing flame. It's a divine flame that can burn all things. Anyone who touches it will die. He recalled the punch of the gored little King Kong, and a trace of fear flashed in his eyes. Yunxiao frowned. Touch and you'll die. Why is it that I've used it so many times, but sometimes I can't even hurt people? Bo Yuqing also said with a strange expression, I'll have to ask you about that. That white flame is indeed the ice fiend heart flame, but its power seems to be much weaker than the legends. He stopped for a moment and seemed to be talking to himself. Do I have to gather the 5 complete rainbow double stones and reconstruct the body of the Devil Lord in order to produce the void fire that can devour everything? Yunxiao was also puzzled, but he had already guessed some of the reasons. The Ice Fiend Heartflame was accidentally contaminated by the gourd little King Kong from Shaohong, so it was normal that it was not powerful enough when it was used on its own. Moreover, Bo Yuqing's analysis was also very reasonable. Back then, the records about the Ice Fiend Heartflame were all divine flames in the hands of the Demon Lord Emperor. After the Demon Lord Emperor's body was separated, this fire had disappeared from the world. Bo Yuqing stared at Yunxiao and said in a deep voice, Lord Feiyang, I've already said so much, shouldn't you reveal something useful to me? Otherwise, this open and honest talk would be considered unfair. Don't worry, Brother Yuqing, Yunxiao said with a smile. As the saying goes, you can't eat hot tofu if you're anxious. We've had a good conversation. Shui Xian also nodded in agreement, as if she had understood. Yi Fan smiled. He knew that Yunxiao was extremely intelligent, and no one could take advantage of him. Even someone as shrewd as Bo Yuqing would be led by the nose by him. Humph. Bo Yuqing snorted in dissatisfaction, don't mention hot tofu, I didn't even see tofu. Come on. Yunxiao laughed. Here, I'll give you a chicken leg. The 2 rainbow stones you asked about are indeed on me, but they've undergone a certain mutation. It might be very different from what you expected, so I can't show them. As expected. Bo Yuqing's face flickered as he stared at Yunxiao with a cold gleam in his eyes. Killing intent flickered in his eyes, as if he could not decide what to do. Yunxiao laughed. Brother Yuqing wants to snatch the chicken leg? Yi Fan and Shui Xian immediately became alert, while the guests remained calm and sat there. The entire isolated space fell silent. After a while, Bo Yuqing retracted his cold aura and said coldly, Lord Feiyang is indeed blessed by the heavens. Not only do you have 2 supreme-grade profound-level weapons, but you also have the 2 rainbow stones. You've also learned the true Fiend Dharma idol. With the moon eyes and the world's #1 sword intent, I'm afraid the 10 martial sovereigns will have to be rearranged. The other 3 people's faces changed slightly as they looked at Yunxiao in surprise. Yi Fan also couldn't help but stick out his tongue, saying in shock, Big Brother Yunxiao, are you really the peerless martial sovereign, Gu Feiyang, whose title is Army Destroyer? Yunxiao nodded without denying it and said, I used to be Gu Feiyang. Yi Fan and the officials' expressions all changed, they were filled with shock. Shui Xian also frowned. She seemed to have heard of this name before. But Gu Feiyang is in the past, Yunxiao said. I am Li Yunxiao now. Yi Fan's expression was complicated, he heaved a sigh of relief and smiled, no matter who you were in the past, you're still my big brother Yunxiao. Yunxiao chuckled and gave him a look of praise, then turned to Bo Yuqing and said, Brother Yuqing, you've really overestimated me. I'm only a 3-star martial sovereign now. I don't care if you're Gu Feiyang or Li Yunxiao, Bo Yuqing snorted. In any case, you're a terrible enemy, so I hope we can be friends. Friend? I can't sleep if I'm friends with Brother Yuqing, Yunxiao said with a smile. I can't sleep. Brother Yuqing and Guangyuan have been friends for so many years, and you almost caused Guangyuan to die in your hands. Bo Yuqing's expression didn't change as he calmly said, that's different. I approached him with a purpose from the beginning. Then, how do I know you're not approaching me with a purpose? Yunxiao said sarcastically. Since Lord Feiyang is so wary of me, Bo Yuqing said, fine, let's talk about the deal. I hope to be able to make a win-win deal with Lord Feiyang.